And to the citizens of Wyoming, I thank you for the opportunity to work for you for these next 4 years. I ran for this office as a Republican, but no governor of Wyoming should append his party affiliation to the office. I pledge to serve all of you, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, all of you, not as Wyoming's Republican governor, but simply and proudly as Wyoming's governor. Starting today, to paraphrase the words of a famous poet, I take the road less traveled. Since Wyoming became a state in 1890, there have only been 31 governors before me. What an honor it is for me to take the oath of office as the 32nd governor of the state of Wyoming. And thanks to the foresight and the thrift of those who traveled this road before me and occupied this office, and the long line of able legislators who have managed the purse strings, Wyoming finds itself today in a position any other state would envy. We have a balanced budget by law and by our fiscally conservative nature. We have great agricultural resources. We have great tourism. We have natural resources that, if managed well, can contribute to Wyoming's economy well into the future. But we have far more than money and natural resources. We have clean air, clean water. We have open and unspoiled spaces that call to residents and tourists alike. We sometimes struggle with issues of management, but we are blessed with diverse populations of wildlife that continue to enthrall and enrich those of us who live here. From Worland to Wamsutter, from Cody to Cheyenne, all across the state of Wyoming, we lucky few who live here wake up in the morning to the sun rising above the plains to our east and end our day watching it set in the ramparts of the Wind River Range. There may not be many of us who live in the long stretches between the Bighorn Basin and Yellowstone National Park, or between Hewlett and Savory, but here's who we are. We still know how to split wood. We know how to jump-start a car. We know how to negotiate our way through a herd of cattle moving up the road. We are scientists, educators, mechanics, and leaders in innovation. We are small business owners. We are self-reliant. We have grit. We are still the kind of people envisioned by the Founding Fathers who, inspired by the sacred notions of liberty and self-determination, created a nation of citizens that govern themselves. We take care of each other, from the neighbor helping at a branding, to the small-town doctors and nurses, to those who care for our children or victims of crime, to the volunteers who deliver holiday presents. We take care of each other. And as we move into the future, taking care of each other is a commitment that will grow ever more important. The issue of affordable health care is one that will be addressed. The question is whether we in Wyoming address it in a fashion that fits our needs, or whether we accept a design crafted by input from 435 representatives and 100 senators, only 3 of whom are from Wyoming. Of necessity, the federal health care bill is an enormous compromise that Washington would have us believe will work as well in Wyoming as it does in California or Alabama. A compromise solution may be the best Congress could do. It is not the best we can do. We want Wyoming-driven solutions to health care, to managing our wildlife, our water, our natural resources, and our land. We recognize the best solutions for Wyoming come from Wyoming. In Wyoming, we do not borrow against a future causing unsustaining debt because we recognize every pasture has limited grass, every pasture has a carrying capacity. We will not graze, let alone overgraze our grandchildren's pastures. We are proudly part of the United States, and now is a time for the benefit of our great country for Wyoming to lead by example, and we can lead. We are ever more ready for the future. The University of Wyoming has its highest ever enrollment. Our community colleges are strong. the legislature has invested in the future of the Hathaway scholarships. And through the efforts of many far-sighted people, politicians, citizens, and private industry alike, we have a school of energy resources. We are building a supercomputer, creating a test bed for clean energy coal gasification, and exploring miles below the Earth's surface to find a safe and sustainable way to store carbon. When I campaigned for this office, I explained that I thought Wyoming's small population should never be looked at as a disadvantage. With the character of the people who live here, it should be seen as an opportunity, because without question, Wyoming's greatest resource is our people. Without you, our natural resources and other resources could not be developed. Without you, our Western heritage and way of life could not endure. With you, Wyoming's future is both bright and secure. But we have work to do. I do not accept that average is good enough. From education to energy development to jobs and the economy, we should strive to put Wyoming first. With our small population and the strength of our citizens, we must be bold, knowing that with all the advantages we have, we can get things done. We can innovate. We can attract industries and diversify our economy through improved technology and connectivity. We can plan today for the water needs of the future. We can help get our young people an education that is second to none. We, with our small population, can communicate more effectively, problem solve more collaboratively, and work neighbor with neighbor towards leaving our children and grandchildren with the same clean air, clean water, and open spaces we enjoy, and a healthy, strong, vibrant economy that makes that enjoyment possible. To do these things is work. To do these things, the small population of Wyoming needs to know their elected representatives. The citizens of Wyoming expect and they deserve access to their government, and my door will always be open. Many years ago, in 1963, my grandfather stood in front of the people of Wyoming and gave his inaugural address. Among other things, he said, "In the long run, the greatest contribution government can make is to provide the opportunity which will encourage individual initiative and effort. Government cannot plan except as individuals dream. It cannot project except as the probing mind of man peers in the unknown. It cannot produce except as individual men labor." The wisdom of his words shapes my beliefs. A state cannot be judged solely on how much it has in its savings account. It must develop and maintain the infrastructure to create the opportunities that will encourage the individual initiative and effort. And at the same time, it must fight excessive regulation that hinders initiative. It must provide a predictable regulatory scheme for investment and growth. Our Wyoming prospers as educators and students and individuals dream, and we have to plan into the future to make those dreams possible. Together, all of us peer today into an unknown future, one that will present challenges, but one that will also delight us with opportunities. I pledge to you today my heart and my soul, working with you, putting Wyoming first to make our future as bright as it can be. But as we all know, a bright future does not happen without some amazing sacrifice. So today it is most important to me to say thank you to those absent, those Wyoming citizens who cannot be here today, but because they are where they are, we can be. To those citizens who are in Afghanistan or Iraq or another part of the world, doing for us what the brave men and women have done for the United States of America for 234 years. Some of Wyoming's soldiers have already sacrificed all, and our hearts and our thanks belong to their families. Some are there still, holding a rifle or driving in a convoy, thinking about their families and their homes, and our prayers for a safe return belong with them until they are back again in their Wyoming home. God bless these soldiers. God bless the United States of America, and God bless Wyoming. Thank you very much.